This session is about eCatalog creating eCatalog user-defined fields. Great Plains has a number of fields that you can use to create filters to base your filter off from. But if you don't have something there, you can also create a field in eCatalog to accommodate that. We have the ability to create string, list, and numeric fields. So if you go up to Setup and you go to User Category, it's going to show a number, right here, a drop down that says how many list fields, string fields, and numeric fields do you want. This is going to impact how long it takes to publish your site, because it adds extra fields to our published tables. So I wouldn't add too many extras that you're not going to use. List fields are ones that will have different values to them. String fields are most commonly used. Numeric ones are going to have to be numbers, obviously. So if you want to create them, you put a number in this box. So if I wanted to create 8 of these, it says some user category fields will be added. Do you want to continue? And I say yes, and it added my 8th one here. So you can point to strings, point to numeric, and create however many you think you're going to need. Once you've created those, it's important that you republish. And in order to, prior to publishing, there's a few things you need to do to your IBE file. So I created that extra one. I'm going to close it. If I try to find that, so I'm going to wanted to show it, you'll notice that it ended at 7, my list field 7, but I created one called 8 and I'm not seeing it. That's because my IBE file only knows about the ones that existed when I first opened up my IBE file. So my IBE file here is called tutorial. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close this one. I have to delete my base eCatalog default IBE file and have eCatalog rebuild it. So I'm going to delete that just by going to File, Open. That's the easiest way to get to it. Close this out, exit eCatalog, come back in it. It's going to rebuild that eCatalog default IBE file. There, it rebuilt it. So now if I right click here and go to Show Hide Columns, go all the way to the bottom, now you'll see that number 8. So the next thing is after I label that, because I want to label it, I don't want it to be called LUSCAT VLS 8. So I want to label it. So if I go to Setup, User Categories again, this message is saying is that, remember, you've created another field. You have to republish your catalog in order, because right now you're going to have no search functionality on your website until you republish this. So I have to acknowledge that I saw that. So here I'm going to label my number 8 as called new field, save it and close. If I go to my Show Hide Columns, once again, it still doesn't recognize that because this is the list of what the IBE file recognized when you first opened it up. So I've got to delete that IBE file a second time, close out of eCatalog, come back in, open up that default one. There we've got the one called new field. So I want to show that field. So it's going to be all the way over here on the right. Scroll all the way to the right. There it is. I'm going to take it and drag it all the way to the front. Before I try editing it, I want to make sure I've saved my IBE file. So I'm going to say Save Settings. Again, that's saving it to this eCatalog default one. And let's go into Edit mode. Now I can edit that field. And you'll notice because I created a list field, it gives me this ... after it. So I'm typing in values, but I haven't really given it the list values yet. So this is pulling it from a different one, something I'd created before. I add a new value. So if I was maybe using this for my filter for my website and I wanted to put yes as an option and no as an option, then I can delete that one. Okay, so I've got 2 different values. Then I can close this. So now if I'm in a list field, I want to select from one of those. I highlight it, say select, come to the next one. It doesn't stop you from typing in it, but it is a list field, and if you are importing into this field, it will validate it against those possible list values. So these are actually inaccurate values there. And go back to browse mode and save that. So if I open that, I've saved that eCatalog IBE file. So I'm going to close it out, open it up one more time. It opens it up with that field in the front, and those values have been saved. So that's a little bit about creating those additional fields should you need them.